Hi, this is Richard Hazler, proud principal of Pequannock Township High School, a 9 through 12 comprehensive high school in Pompton Plains, New Jersey, as part of the Pequannock Township School District. And welcome to this week's episode of Learning Sparks, where we learn and grow together, talking about instructional strategies that enhance student learning in your classrooms. It's been a while since I've done an episode of Learning Sparks, as there's been a lot of transition in my life. This past September, I took over as principal of Pequannock Township High School. For the last 7 years, I had served as the principal of our middle school, Pequannock Valley School. And we've done some amazing things there. If you've watched my previous episodes of Learning Sparks, I highlighted many of the instructional strategies that we use together to enhance our students' success. As I began here at Pequannock Township High School, and for the past 4 months, I've been doing a lot of work with our staff on building culture. Today is January 2nd, and it's the start of a new year and a new decade. But something remains the same. Whether it was September 1st or now January 2nd, one of the biggest things we need to do is make that connection. When people talk about their one-word movement and what are they going to do, what one word is going to describe how they're going to live in this school year, I think connection is an important word. There are 5 critical things that you need to do in order to make those connections with students, with staff, and your community. Most importantly, with the students, you need to meet students where they are. As the principal here, when I walked into the building, these were all students that I had at the middle school level. But a lot has changed since then. And so it was great to see them where they are in their building, where they are at this age now as high schoolers. What are their goals? What are their dreams? What do they want to do, not just this year, but for the next 4 years and beyond? And so it's meeting students where they are when they walk into your classroom. What are they passionate about? What do they like to do? What kind of day are they having? As they come back from a vacation, it's very important to help students adjust again, because transitioning back from a vacation is critically important. Sometimes you can't just jump right into academic material. It's, again, rebuilding those relationships that you've done from September through December. Something else in order to make connections with the students, with staff, and with the community is be visible. As a new principal, it was really important for me to be out in front of things and being in the hallways, in the classrooms, in the cafeterias, at sporting events. Being visible and not sitting behind your desk is a critically important role as an administrator and a teacher, because you need to be visible in your classroom. If you're doing an activity, you need to be up and moving around. You need to be sitting with groups when you're working in a collaborative space. Be visible. Be in the hallways during changing of classes. Walk into a cafeteria. If you're at a middle school or high school, go to a sporting event or an activity. Let them see you in their area, not just in the classroom setting. So visibility is key. Even if you can get out into the community, go food shopping on the weekends, or go support them in a Little League game or a dance competition, where you can see students in where they live is also really important. I think something that's another important thing in building connections is care over content. It's not always about the grade. You really need to work on caring for that student when they're in your classroom, whether they're an A student or maybe their grades aren't an A. You need to care about them just the same, because every student is going through something, and sometimes they have good days and sometimes they have not so good days. So it's really important to exercise that care over content, not just at the beginning of a marking period or at the end of a marking period, but all the time. Your course is not always about the content. Is it important? Yes, but it's about those relationships. Another way to make connections with students and staff in the community is celebrate little victories. Just because a student gets 100 doesn't mean that there has to be a major celebration, but it could be a student has shown improvement by 2 or 3 points on an assignment, or a student raised their hand on a particular day where they didn't necessarily participate. Or maybe for you as a teacher, you're celebrating the little victories in your class by trying something new and demonstrating to students that it's okay to take a risk. Or maybe it's celebrating an athletic accomplishment that your team did and you're on the loudspeaker as an administrator, or you recognize something in the classroom. Celebrate those little victories with students, because it really helps make the connection. And then lastly, I think something that's really important in making connections with students, with staff, or in your community is being consistent and constant. When you're making decisions, be consistent with those decisions. Don't waver. Treat every decision as a critical one, but be consistent. And be constant. Always be a constant presence. It's important that you're in the classroom with your students. We all need time off. We're coming off of a vacation right now, and it's important that we're here for our students. We're here for our parents. We're here for our staff. we're here for our community, because that's our job and that's where learning is going to spark. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Learning Sparks. I look forward to continuing to learn and grow with you, and look forward to more episodes of Learning Sparks in the year 2020. But follow me on Twitter at Rich Hazler. Continue to grow your professional learning network and always do what's best for kids. Have a great day, everybody.